Rock Band VR will make you feel like a rock star. Sure, the heyday of Guitar Hero and Rock Band's plastic music instruments is over, but that's not stopping Harmonix from trying something new. Its first stab at virtual reality is immersive, but most importantly, it's fun. Partially that's because you're playing the game on stage in VR, but Harmonix has also completely changed up how you play its plastic guitar. Instead of trying to hit different notes in time with a song, you're judged on how well you can play different chords. That involves holding down different buttons on the guitar and strumming, rather than just hitting the colored buttons. It's a far less punishing experience than previous Rock Band and Guitar Hero games. In fact, it's pretty much impossible to fail a song. If you do badly, you just earn fewer points. At first, it might seem like a cakewalk, but there's definitely a learning curve if you want to play the game properly. There are also higher difficulties that introduce things like chord progression. Ultimately, it's a lot more fulfilling than just hitting notes in sync with a song, but if you miss the old Rock Band format, there's also a classic mode. I found myself jamming out for hours at a time, whereas previous Rock Band games left me frustrated after failing a few songs. More than any other title from Harmonix, Rock Band VR lets you live out the fantasy of actually being a rocker, especially during those crazy guitar shredding solos. It even gives you extra points for headbanging. The game is an ideal VR experience. The creepy virtual audience actually makes eye contact with you and gets revved up as you play better. And the chord chart appears right above the crowd. There's something simply cool about being on stage alongside virtual bandmates, and you can also lean into any mic on stage to speak to the audience. Setting up the game takes a bit of work and money. You'll need an Oculus Rift and touch controller, which go for $600 together. You'll also need a Rock Band 4 compatible guitar. Harmonix offers the game together with the Xbox One or PS4 version of its guitar for $70. The touch controller sits atop the guitar using a small plastic holster, which Oculus ships with the controller. That makes the guitar a bit top-heavy, but it's not a huge problem when you're holding it with two hands. Unfortunately, Rock Band VR only supports guitar play, and there's no multiplayer support either. And since you're playing in a VR headset, it's a lot harder to enjoy it with an audience. You can always configure the sound to come out of your speakers, though, and show off the game in a window on a TV or monitor. The game ships with 60 songs from the likes of Aerosmith, David Bowie, and Dragon Force, and as usual, you'll eventually be able to snag more through DLC. There are plenty of solid bundled tracks for rock fans, though depending on your taste, there are probably a few you'll never play. For all of its faults, Rock Band VR succeeds by getting the big things right. It completely revitalizes the aging music game genre, and it's one of the first few titles I'd recommend to anyone with an Oculus Rift. It'll let you live out all of your teenage musical fantasies, as long as you don't mind looking a bit like a dork.